What's going on, nerds? I'm Wes with Neverboard Gaming. We are back on Mars, but this time, there's aliens. So today we are talking about the Alien Invasion expansion for Vital Lacerda's On Mars, which is coming to Kickstarter from Eagle Gryphon Games. And this expansion does a lot of really cool things. Now, if you saw our video for On Mars, and if you haven't, you can click the card to watch that now, you'll know that this is not a light game. It's not for the faint of heart. We absolutely loved it. Fantastic game. But there's definitely some weight to it. And so when you have a game that's already heavy, you have a Vital Lacerda game, your first thought with an expansion is like, man, you're adding more to this already heavy game. And this expansion does a really great job because it doesn't just add more to the game, it actually makes subtle tweaks or not so subtle tweaks to the gameplay to give you an all-new experience while still playing the core mechanics of On Mars. This expansion actually comes with 4 modules that you can pick from. There's a semi-cooperative, like all versus one style game. There are 2 fully cooperative games, and then another solo game, because this game does come with a solo game, and now you have another option for playing solo games. And all of it ties back to the Alien Invasion. Now, there are definitely some thematics with this game. There's a story arc that takes place over the different versions, starting with a semi-co-op, going through the 2 cooperative games, and then on to the solo game. And you are more than welcome to play it like one continuous story. However, there are some varying player counts, because the all versus one can go up to 5 players, the 2 cooperative games are 2 to 4 players, and then of course the solo game is by yourself. So you can pick people so that you can play the entire story arc, or pick and choose as you will. The beauty of this game is that it's not like a true campaign where if you didn't play the first game, the second game won't make sense. You are more than welcome to pick and choose which game you play, in which order you play it. And so you may get this expansion just for the one version. You may just want to add the semi-cooperative all versus one to the game, or you may be getting this expansion just to add the additional solo mode to the game. Either way, I think that there is a ton of value packed into this box. So without further ado, I think the best thing we can do is take a look at each one of these styles of play and go over what it changes, what it adds, and why I think you should back this expansion. Alright, so Module 1 dives straight into it with the Invasion. Now, this is going to be the real bread and butter for this expansion, in my opinion. It's one of my favorite all-time game styles, and that is an all versus one style game. One player is going to take on the alien side, and 2 to 4 players are going to play as the human colonists. So this module does expand the game into a 5-player game, and it's semi-cooperative. So all of the human players are going to be on one team playing against the one alien player. Now, the way that the humans win is going to be by collectively earning 100 points. So there are new ways to get points by like upgrading technology and learning new technologies. There's new ways to lose points by like losing rocket ships, and I'm not going to get into the minutia of the rules of this game. I am just going to give you a high level look at each of the different modules. So humans are all trying to collectively earn points, while as the alien is just trying to invade. They're just trying to flood the board with their aliens, and if they can get 20 aliens onto the board, then the aliens win. The humans have to get 100 points. Now, the human game is going to play fairly similarly to the base game of On Mars, except for that you have all new buildings, and each of the human players are going to have a new building that gives them a new thing to do. So you have shields that are going to protect buildings and stop the alien players from doing things. You've got the exosuit, which is going to go and actually let you go and knock aliens off the board. You've got your sentry bots, which are an all-new vehicle that goes onto the board, and they stun the aliens. They knock them over and they make them unable to do things, and it makes it easier for the exosuit to go out there and actually get them off the board. And you also have the sabotage, which is going to limit the aliens' actions. And that's because the alien player actually has a whole new action board. And now there's definitely going to be some similarities between the alien action board and the standard human board. The biggest thing I think you'll recognize is going to be the kind of the tech tree, as you have the technology that you're going to be able to upgrade and earn things as you upgrade it. You also have buildings that you can buy off to the side that you can use to upgrade. You also do have special buildings that you can build onto the board, and those are alien shelters and alien mines, because again, the more shelters you have out there, the more aliens you can spawn onto the board at once. The more mines you have, you can get crystals to help you build those shelters. And you also have building advancements just like the humans do. However, the alien has very specific, these building cards are for the alien, this technology is for the alien player, these buildings are for the... I feel like saying alien isn't super accurate because none of these beings are indigenous to Mars. So really, we're all aliens? So let's go ahead and just call this the Invader. So the Invader player has all unique parts that the humans can't use, and the humans have all unique parts that the Invader character can't use. This is a super, super awesome addition to On Mars. Again, I love all Verse 1 games, and I think that this is a fantastic addition. And it really takes On Mars, which is an investment of a game, both in the size of the game, the time it takes to play, and it's definitely not like a cheap typical game like you get at a big box store. It's a big game for real board gamers. And I think that this expansion adds so much value to it in just this version alone, not to mention the other 3 modules that we'll talk about in a minute. So the next module is called Outbreak, and this is the first of the fully cooperative modules. So the first change that you're really going to notice in this one is that you don't actually keep score. All the players just put their score markers back in the box. You don't have to worry about it because this is a true fully co-op experience. 2 to 4 players are now battling a virus that has outbroken in your colony. And so you've got all new missions that you're trying to accomplish that all have to do with building hospitals, getting vaccines, getting medicine, and these are all new things that are added to the game. So you've got a new lineup of cards over here, you've got new cards you add there, and you have a 7th card in that lineup because you do have new buildings in there that let you make medicine and build hospitals. And you have a new type of building on the board, which is your hospital, which is over here off to the side. And this is where you're actually going to produce your new resource, which is medicine. The reason that you need medicine is because throughout the game, you're going to be drawing from this infection deck, and you're going to find out where your different crew members are getting infected. And that's one of the really tricky things, is that when your crew is infected, you must quarantine them. It all works really well, just like a Vitalis Rd game, like this corresponds to that, corresponds to that, corresponds to this. Because when your crew is infected, you're going to lay them down, and then you do need to separate them. Because at the end of a turn, if a crew member is in the same section or area as an infected crew member, all of those crew members also become infected and become laid down. And part of what you're trying to combat is the number of infected people that there are, because that's one of the lose conditions of this game, is either 12 or 14 infected crew, and you can kind of variate that depending on how hard you want this to be. Now there's also a timer in the game, which is over here. There's a whole new overlay card that you put down that is a set number of rounds that this game takes place. So you do have a ticking clock that you have to accomplish the win conditions of the game before it counts down, and again, before that many crew members become infected. And so it really does change the whole game experience that you're working together. It's not necessarily a race against the other player. There is no like cutthroating where you build your buildings or which gems you go pick up, because you really are working together to accomplish this. So it really does take On Mars into a fully cooperative experience. So you may have noticed there weren't really any aliens in Module 2. And even though you are fighting a virus that is definitely suspicious of being extraterrestrial, there are no direct alien involvements in that version. Well, the aliens are back in Module 3, which is called Blackout. And this is another fully cooperative module. And thematically, you now have an alien saboteur who is back and who is cutting power to the different buildings in your complex. And you have to fight back and keep your complex moving forward while also progressing on Mars. Again, in this module, you are not going to be tracking any of your points because your whole focus is going to be together, building your complex, accomplishing goals, and fending off the alien saboteur. Now, during the game, you are going to be drawing cards from the saboteur deck, and that is going to tell you where the alien is attacking your outpost. Now, each of the different types of building is represented on a card here, and every time that card is drawn, one of those areas is affected. So, for example, if you draw this green card, then you are going to apply one of these blackout tokens to one of the green buildings in your complex. Now, the first time, it's just a blackout token, and there is no real game effect, but the second time that card is drawn, you are going to look and see if there is a blackout token on a building of that type. And if there is, you're going to take one of your meeple dudes and put him laying down on that building. And that shows that the building is truly blacked out. Without a meeple, it's just vandalized. Again, still progresses normal. Once you draw it a second time, meeple down, fully blacked out, that building no longer triggers, it no longer produces resources, it's no longer part of a complex. And the way you're going to combat that is by accomplishing goals. Every time you complete either a public or a private goal, you are going to be able to remove those blackout tokens from the board and move down on your time tracker. So there is the time tracker back. You're going to use the alien side of the marker for this one. And it's not actually a true countdown timer such that it's counting the number of rounds. In this one, it's tracking how many goals you have to complete. So every time you complete a goal, you get to remove blackout tokens from the board, and you also get to move that timer down a notch. And that's how you really win. Once you accomplish a certain number of goals and that timer counts down to 0, you've won the game. So again, fully cooperative. You want everyone to complete as many goals as possible, but since it is just completing goals, it is going to feel very similar to the base game of On Mars because, again, you're just trying to get those goals accomplished, but rather than getting points for them, you're going to count down the marker. The way you lose this game is by having 5 buildings fully blacked out, or when you need to put one of your little meeple dudes on the board to show the building's blacked out, if everyone is out of these meeple dudes because they're either in play or they're already on the board blacked out, then you also lose. And last but not least, the On Mars Alien Invasion expansion does contain a brand new solo game to play. Now, as we have said ad nauseum, we don't actually play solo games, and apparently we've said it enough that both Eagle Griffin and Vital knew better than to send us the components to even set up the solo game, because we've sent them off to other content creators that are going to create awesome content on the new solo game. But needless to say, I do have the rules, and I can tell you that in this solo game, you have 5 brand new objectives. Each one has like a deck of cards to choose from, but the deck has like some similarities. So one deck uses a specific blueprint card to upgrade a building to level 3. One of the decks has to fulfill a specific Earth goal card. One deck has a specific technology that you have to maximize, and so on and so on. So it does give you a bunch of different goals that you have to complete, and there's a timer to the game as well, where sabotage is going to be happening and things are going to be working against you. But you have to fulfill 4 of the 5 goal cards that you're given before the timer runs out. So if you are a solo gamer, then there is just another bit of reason why you should back this game on Kickstarter, because you're going to get a whole new solo game to play on Mars with. So guys, obviously I am not here to teach you how to play on Mars or each of the different modules of this expansion. I'm really just wanting to show you a little glimpse at what each module has to offer and really show you the exponential value that this expansion has to offer to On Mars. If you have On Mars, I really think that backing this is a no-brainer. If you don't have On Mars, this is a great opportunity to come in and just get absolutely everything for the game, because once you add this, like On Mars itself is worth it. Fantastic game. Vital makes incredible games, but adding this expansion really gives you the option to play that game 5 different ways with all different player counts, multiple solo games, multiple fully cooperative games, the true all versus one game. It just adds so much value that I think that it is a no-brainer to back. If you are ready to go ahead and back this game, there will be a link in the description box down below that'll take you over to the Kickstarter page where you can back to your heart's content, or if you're already on the Kickstarter page, just scroll back up and click on that big green back button. And if you were watching my video and you were like, man, that is a huge game, I don't know if I have a table big enough to hold it, well, that's why I think you need a game topper. We play all of our games on these awesome game toppers, and as you can see, they can accommodate huge games like On Mars. So if you're looking to add one to your collection, there's going to be a link down below for that as well. Either way, guys, I hope you've enjoyed the video. Make sure you go ahead and hit that like button. Follow us over on Instagram. Leave a comment down below if you have anything to say. But most importantly, make sure you subscribe to our channel so you'll never be bored.